Right now, the United States is going through some intense, rapid change. I mean, from technology to the economy, it really feels like everything is speeding up. So, in this explainer, we've distilled the key trends shaping the American landscape to give you a really clear picture of what's happening and, why it all matters.
And yeah, rapid change is really the perfect way to put it. That one phrase just perfectly captures this moment we're in. Everything, it seems, from our tech to our culture, is just moving faster than ever. But what does all this change actually look like in real life? It's one thing to say it's happening, but we're going to break down exactly where and how these huge shifts are taking place. So here's how we're going to break it all down for you. We've got it organized into 4 key areas. We'll kick things off with technology's tipping point, then we'll dive into the economy's very mixed signals, take a look at some major policy shifts, and finally, we'll explore what's going on in the American zeitgeist. Okay, first up, technology. And believe me, this is about way more than just new gadgets. We're talking about new rules for society and, well, entirely new ways of experiencing reality itself. And that brings us to maybe the most urgent question being debated everywhere from Washington to Silicon Valley. As AI gets more and more powerful, the whole conversation about how we should manage it is just getting louder and way more critical. And really, this whole debate boils down to one core tension. On one side, you've got this urgent need for safety and privacy, creating guardrails to stop bias and misuse. But on the other side, there's a very real fear that if we put too many rules in place too soon, it could actually stifle American innovation and progress. And AI is really just the tip of the iceberg. We've got augmented reality that's starting to blend our digital and physical worlds. Virtual collaboration is completely redefining what the office even means. And short-form video, it's reshaping our entire culture at lightning speed. And of course, with all of these, the demand for data privacy is a huge deal. All right, let's pivot to our second section, the economy. Because all that tech change we just talked about, it's having a massive impact here. And if you've been trying to keep up with the news, it's all kind of confusing, right? We're seeing signs of real strength right next to signs of real struggle. So let's start with the good news. The job market is still looking strong. The national unemployment rate is historically low, which basically means that, for the most part, if you want a job, you can probably find one. But that strong job number, it doesn't really tell the whole story. When you dig into wage growth, the picture gets way more complicated. Sure, sectors like tech and healthcare are seeing some nice pay bumps, but wages in areas like retail and hospitality, they're growing much, much more slowly. And that means a lot of families are still feeling that economic squeeze. At the exact same time, there's this ongoing tug of war over where we actually work. A lot of companies are pushing for a return to the office. They want that in-person collaboration. But a lot of employees are fighting to keep the flexibility and work-life balance they've gotten used to. And you just can't talk about the economy without talking about student loans. It's a really intense national debate. On the one hand, people who support relief say it would be a huge economic boost for millions. But opponents are quick to ask about fairness. What about all the people who already paid off their loans? Okay, on to our third section. Now we're going to look at how policy is trying, and I mean trying, to respond to all these massive shifts. We're talking about some of our biggest collective challenges here, from our personal health to the health of the planet. So let's start with public health. The CDC has actually shifted its approach, kind of streamlining the guidance for seasonal sicknesses. The message now is really clear and simple. Get vaccinated to protect yourself and others, test when you need to, and most importantly, if you're sick, just stay home to stop the spread. Now, shifting over to the environment, the whole conversation has really moved toward this idea of resilience. And what that really means is taking practical steps right now, like investing in renewable energy, beefing up our defenses against floods and wildfires, and building a green economy that creates new jobs. And at the same time, we're seeing a really interesting shift in where people are putting their political energy. While all the national politics stuff dominates the headlines, more and more people are getting engaged at the local level. We're talking city councils, school boards, places where decisions have an immediate impact on their daily lives. And for our final section, let's dive into the American zeitgeist. I mean, with all this change and division, where are people actually finding common ground? What are the cultural moments that are capturing our collective attention? Let's take March Madness, for example. It's so much more than just a basketball tournament. It's actually one of the few big cultural events left that truly captures the whole nation's attention, creating this shared conversation for millions of us every single spring. So, what is it that makes it so compelling? Well, it's the pure unpredictability of it all. The drama of the underdog, that classic Cinderella story, and the shared ritual of everyone filling out their brackets. It all comes together to create this huge national moment. And that points to another massive cultural shift. The entire path to stardom has been completely redrawn. I mean, today, a song can go viral in a bunch of short-form videos, build a massive online following, and then shoot to the top of the music charts almost overnight. All of it driven by fans and creators. Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started. If there's one single thing to take away from all these different trends in tech, the economy, policy, and culture, it's this. We are living in a moment where change is really the only constant. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. In a world that's changing this fast, just being informed is really only the first step. The real question is, how are you going to participate in shaping whatever comes next?